Hi, welcome to Astrology and Earth Magic. I'm Jen and I'm here to provide us with some astrological wisdom to guide us through the month of July. And I thought that what a better place to be during Cancer season is to be out on the boat doing this month horoscope. So this is going to be a month of retrospection, healing, and retrogrades. So on the 4th, we begin the month with Venus moving into Gemini. And that's right after the conjunction with Uranus before she moves out of Taurus. So some big surprises are going to be coming up for our 4th of July festivities, maybe more than just fireworks. It's going to be excitement in your love life, maybe a surprise gift, or even something surprise with money. Be open to do something outside your comfort zone. Uranus really pushes us to just go outside the box, but do this within reason, because you never know what Uranus is going to do. It can be a little bit unpredictable. But you want to be open, be curious, be playful, be flirty, and just have fun. Gossip all you want, because you know when you're in Gemini with Venus and Gemini, you just want to know everything about everything. You're nosy. You just want to know all the facts. So just give them to me. Gossip, gossip, gossip. Neptune will also be stationing retrograde on the 4th. So this is our first of 4 planets to go retrograde and Chiron, to go retrograde in July. So this is time for introspection, for reflection, reevaluation of your belief systems. Really, you want to clear the bad karma away and boost the good karma, because this is a very karmic planet, and this is, when it's in retrograde, it's karma coming back to get you. Whether it's good or bad, it's going to come back. So, is it going to be a bitch or is it going to be a blessing? And that's really on you and kind of, how you've been living up until now. So you don't want the bad karma to really ruin your 4th of July festivities. So get ready for some excitement, because on the 7th, and this is the last of our big outer planet transits that I've been talking about, this is when Uranus moves into Gemini. Now, this is a big one, guys, and this is expect the unexpected, especially, when we have our current president has his sun and his north node and Uranus in the sign of Gemini. Plus, Uranus will be squaring his ascendant right before the ingress. So I would warn, more hysteria is going to come up around the 6th or 7th of the month. With him, with people protesting about him most likely, or even his own theatrics. But these are things that are going to really kind of be a lasting effect that's going to, good or bad, whatever you think. I'm not sure, because this is Uranus again, what we're talking about, but something big is going to happen, I think, involving the president, that is going to kind of be his legacy and is going to last for generations to come. But for the rest of us, things that may start to change the future. This is a whole year of changing the way life is, and the world as we know it. Already we're seeing peace in the Middle East happening. We are seeing what was a war going on kind of coming to a standstill. If we ever have peace in the Middle East, that's huge. So we don't know how these changes are going to affect us, but I think we're already seeing a lot taking effect, and all these big outer planet ingresses into these next signs are these huge changes that we've been expecting for, forever now. So if we look back at the past times of Uranus transiting through Gemini, the last one we had before this one was in the 1940s, where we saw the Holocaust, we saw World War II. Prior to that, we saw the U.S. Civil War. So that, we already are seeing themes similar to that. So, we have, Israel, and Jewish, that are in these wars going on, very front and center. We have the US Civil War when this happened twice, 2 ingresses ago, and now we're seeing so much division here in the United States, so we see a lot of the same themes coming up. And then we also had, prior to that, the US Civil War, or I said that already, the Revolutionary War. So we see a lot of things that are like seceding and getting away from something, but then reuniting as something else. So really interesting past of Uranus transiting Gemini. And with the history also, and check this video out if you haven't, with Jupiter in Cancer, we see that there is unity after tragedy with all the stuff that happened in the history of Jupiter in Cancer. Saturn and Neptune conjunction as well. So plus with all these current tensions that we have going on in the Middle East and elsewhere that are starting to calm, hopefully they'll stay calm, but even within our own soil here in the United States, we might be in for quite a ride. So get ready. I think this month is going to be more than just, you know, independence fireworks. We're going to see a lot more than that. So we'll do a full video on the Uranus in Gemini next week. So make sure you subscribe and get those notifications, because we got a lot of interesting stuff coming up. But along with we also have Venus trining Pluto. So this is about evolution to a new and beautiful future. And we spoke about going again before, you know, through tragedy, before we can achieve peace and before we can achieve unity. And I think this is going to be that with Pluto, you have that death and rebirth. And I think that's what we're going to see, is a lot of, could be bad before the good that could be happening. So just be prepared, because I think in the long run, everything's going to be great. It's just going to be a little bit tough getting there. So on the 10th, we have the full moon in Capricorn. So we've reached a pinnacle, but how did we get there? And that is what matters, because Capricorn, that ruled by Saturn, is about what you've done to achieve your goals. Did you put the work in, or did you kind of cheat your way there? With hard work and merit, balancing work and home life, how have you handled responsibility? Will you be rewarded or will you be penalized? So that's kind of the theme mid-month, because on the 13th, then Saturn is second to station retrograde. So, and that is at 1 degree of Aries. So just after the sun trines the North Node. So what destiny have you built for yourself? And at what cost did you take to get there? Did you sacrifice your family to move up in the corporate ladder? You know, have you stepped on people on the way up? What have you done? Like, again, this is going back to earlier in the month where I talked about having that good karma and clearing out the bad karma. You want to do things with a respectable way, with a responsible way, and with an empathetic way. And that's how you really can get to the top and be revered there, and not be, you know, hated or, you know, gossiped about or something like that. So you want to be sitting up there happy at the top and not sitting by yourself. So on the 18th, Mercury will be in our third to station retrograde. So that's on the 18th. Mercury stations retrograde in the sign of Leo. So you are forced to look back and reflect again on who you've become. Re-examine, rethink the path that you've been on, the choices that you've made. Again, have you made the right choices? Have you been selfish? Have you been unselfish? Like, what have you done to become the person that you're being? Now you're going to rethink all this stuff. And, you know, what kind of leader were you? This is Leo. So again, you know, if you got to that supervisory role at work, maybe, what have you done to get there? Have you done things in a good way, or have you been kind of that sneaky backstabber? So again, you know, that karma is going to come back. So, because, you know, don't forget, Neptune is retrograde. So Mercury retrograde will also sextile Venus. So This could be about maybe making a little bit of money, extra money, because you have done things the right way and you've grown up the ladder the right way. Or it could be reconnecting with a past love, perhaps. A visit with or text with somebody, catch up with an old flame, bump into somebody shopping, who knows what could happen. Not saying it's going to be like getting back in love, but I wouldn't be surprised if you did do some, back meeting up with her, like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you in forever. So could be something just like that, really basic. On the 22nd, the sun will go into Leo. So that is, let's turn on our heart lights and let's stand out. Let yourself feel like the world revolves around you. We can all be Leos sometimes, right? And it will also sextile Uranus. So our innovative and ingenious ideas that we come up with are adapting and changing, and just really growing to be able to make them work. All of us have those kind of like pipe dreams, but this is really about how are we going to actually make this pipe dream work, instead of just fantasizing about it and saying, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Look at where this falls in your chart as well. So you definitely want to get your chart pulled up so you can see where all this is happening. See where you have, Gemini. So when Uranus moves in there, what do you have going on in Gemini? What part of your life is that going to affect for you on a personal level? Look at where you have Leo on your chart, so you see where this where the sun is, what part of your life is going to be lit up, what part of your life is going to be kind of like the center of attention. So definitely get your charts up so you can check this stuff and see how it is going to be for you, because it's going to end up being different from everybody. And you also want to see what planets you have there as well. So we have a lot going on this month, so you want to pay attention. So it will also, we have the sun will also be squaring Mars on the 23rd. So we can be very highly motivated, also very competitive, fiery, very bold, because we want to be the leader. And it's about who's going to come out on top, really. And with the square to Mars, it's like, again, what are you going to do to be that person that comes out on top? And with the square, you might want to watch out, because you also don't want to hurt anybody and you want to do things in a good way. But with that square, again, at what cost are you going to get ahead? So, you want to keep that in mind this time of the month. On the 24th, the sun will trine Saturn and Neptune. So you can have a dreamy and determined goal. It just leads us with those seeds planted. Plant those seeds to make that dreamy goal into a reality. Just new goals being formed, maybe new ideas, new plans that you have, just something that you want to just get started on. Just any kind of dream, fantasy, whatever, you can make it work, but just with that Saturn in there, it's got to be logical. You got to do it in a logical way. It's got to make sense. So as we begin with the new moon in Leo on the 24th, it's also about building self-confidence, spirituality, enough to gain that clarity, because there are higher forces there, higher forces than you that are kind of, being the puppet master. And, that could be, whatever spirituality that you're in. It can be God. It can be the stars that are, guiding you. It can be anything. But there is a higher power that sometimes causes things to happen. And, one thing I noticed a lot, so my husband and I, we always are pointing out to each other when we see the triple numbers, like 444, 555, whatever. And you always just want to be thankful, because that is supposedly when you're being looked down on, you're being watched, your angels are with you, however you want to look at it. I always, kind of think to myself whenever I see them, thank you for being by my side, and be that appreciative, because something's guiding you, something's keeping you safe. So, this is how you can also gain that momentum to kind of push yourself into the limelight, and you gain the courage to be the center of attention, because sometimes you feel like you're supported. And if you feel like you have that support system of that higher power around you, maybe you'll, drop that fear, and you'll be able to be that center of attention, speaking at the podium, be the leader of your group at work, come out as that manager kind of person, whatever you're working towards. Just having pride in what we've done, having confidence in what we've done, and having confidence in what we can do, and the ability to start something new. So on the 25th, we have the Sun opposite Pluto. So this is, again, pride in your accomplishments, but can also be a superiority complex, because this is an opposition. So, we could have that teetering back and forth with like, I have so much pride. Oh, and so I think I'm better than everybody else. Idealism can really have you feeling larger than life. Again, superior, which can really cause difficulties with authority, because if you're not at the top of the ladder, that authority, you're going to be kind of, butting heads with them. This is that opposition. And it's like, I don't like being told what to do. No one's telling me what to do. I know what I'm doing. I do what I want to do. And, this is something that I've had my whole life. In my chart, I have my Sun, my Pluto, and my Mercury all conjunct in my 10th house. So when it comes to work, I've always been that kind of person that likes to work by myself. I like to be independent, and I like to feel like I know what I'm doing, because I just really, want to dig in and get deep in. So these are how these things can affect you. And I used to, with my past job, me and my old boss used to butt heads a lot, because he would want me to do things one way. I would want to do things my own way. And so that's where that Pluto can come in with the Sun. That is just kind of being that, that don't tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do things. So, not really superiority complex, but kind of a superiority complex. So we calm this idealism down a little bit as Venus moves into Cancer on the 30th. So this is nice. This is that more compassionate, more nurturing. I want to just take care of you. And if you're in a loving relationship with a spouse or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, or even if with your children, you just want to take care of them. You're going to want to have that overwhelming feeling that I just want to cook for you, or I want to, have the house look nice when you get home, and I want to do nice things for you. This is going to be especially within the home life and within your family, because this is in Cancer. So Venus moving into Cancer, Venus wanting to take care of those people that you love, your family, the close people in your life. Go bake for somebody, make cookies, do something special. It'll make you feel good, and it'll make them feel good. You crave harmony at this time, and you just want to be that nurturing force to those that you love, So I think, even if you don't have family close by and you have a neighbor that maybe they're by themselves a lot, bake them a bunch of cookies, bring them over, and just, maybe spend a few minutes, have a little talk with them, just sit and just be that person. And if you have a significant other or whatever, maybe get them a little gift or some flowers or something to just show that you care. A little goes a long way sometimes. And then we have our fourth final retrograde of July, and this is with Chiron. And that's on the 30th. So this is going from, really just looking into ourselves. And, we start off the month with that introspection, then we go to having that pride in ourselves and what we've accomplished, and then wanting to kind of spread that out to everybody else and help others. Okay, so we've grown and I've accomplished this, I have this money now and I want to share it or whatever. But you see how things start kind of progressing through the month, where you're almost like your mind is maturing a little bit. And so the Chiron retrograde is a 5-month period of really, again, deep introspective healing that can really help you reemerge once we start going direct again, a happier and a mentally healthier person. And you also, because this is happening in Aries, you want to take action to help those in need. And because this is, you know, with the Venus in Cancer, and the Sun in Cancer, we also, well, the Sun's moved out of Cancer at this time, but we have Venus in Cancer still with that intuition very high. So we're going to know that somebody's in need or in pain, and we're just going to have that like intuition that we can feel it, just like something's wrong with this person, I want to help them. And you know, use that knowledge that you gain from your past struggles to help others. This is what Chiron's all about. So maybe you still have that pain inside, but you can use that knowledge to then help somebody else that might be going through the same thing that you're going through. And it really is beneficial to both of you, because I think when you're helping somebody else, it also helps yourself a little bit too. So really just, I think it's going to be, besides that whole, you know, Uranus thing causing all this craziness going into Gemini, I think it's actually going to be a pretty nice month on a personal level. I think that's going to be more on the outside, like on the outside looking in. But if we kind of stay in our own little bubble, I think it's going to be a lot of like looking into ourselves and taking care of yourself mentally, taking care of the people that you love also. It's always like Cancer season is all about taking care of the people that you love. And we end July with the Sun conjunct to Mercury retrograde on the 31st. So again, we're rethinking things, reevaluating the goals, who we are, who we want to be, and how we've gotten to where we are. And really thinking about, did I do things the right way? And I think a lot of this month is going to be that, like, now, am I really the person that I want to be? You know, and think about just a lot of the stuff that's going on around the world and how people are acting and how people are just out of their minds crazy. You know, if someone's on one side of the aisle and someone's on the other side, and people just, you know, and I think this is the time that we really need to just think about it and say, like, you know, maybe I've been a little bit too rough. You know, maybe I haven't been so open-minded. You know, you want to reevaluate the person that you are. Have you been a good person? And I think this is a great month for that. I think that July is really about that, keeping an open mind and really kind of seeing the truth. As we see Uranus move into Gemini, we're going to find out the truth. We're going to find out what's real, what's not real. And I think it's going to be a lot of surprises as well. This is going to be happening for a while, of course. I think till about 2033, we have Uranus in Gemini. So with all the outer planets moving, this is a slow process. This isn't going to be this overnight process, but we already are seeing the changes taking place already. And it's just, it's crazy. So anyway, we're reevaluating who we want to be at the end of the month and who we've been, reprocessing the information that we've learned, and really like, is this real or is this fake? You know, and then also reevaluating the world around us and being open to the changes that are happening. So July, again, we begin with the time to reflect, then let the healing begin for yourself and for others in need. So I hope you like this video, and I hope you have a great July. If you did like this video, then be sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe. We got lots of stuff going on this month. We're going to be taking you around town a little bit, hopefully doing some shorts. So you want to stay tuned for that. So hit that notification bell so you get alerted to all the content coming up. Let's help grow as a channel together. Leave comments. Let me know what you want to hear about. Let me know what you think this month is going to mean for you and for the United States, or for the president, whatever. Or just leave a comment saying, you know, hey, nice background. I don't care. The comments are great. They help boost the channel, and I really appreciate it. So I will see y'all soon. Have a good one. Bye.